Good morning, good night, or good evening, everyone. And today we are reviewing the Tier 10 Dockyard ship, Puerto Rico. Now, as you can see by the camera, this was the second time Puerto Rico came around. And I got her the second time. I could have had her the first time, but, well, I was on the anti-Puerto Rico train the first time. In hindsight, I really should have got her the first time. Now, right off the bat, without the contributor flag, she's 50% to credits, 105 to 105 to ship XP, 115 to commander XP, and then, well, 150 with a clan to free XP. Armor-wise, she has 27mm bow, plating of 30mm, armor belt of 254, and then a 27mm, rear end. Now, this is overmatchable, but let's blow away this armor for you. It would have to go right through the bow and into the citadel, but it isn't hard. Now, you might think, oh, well, this is a waterline citadel, and I'm thinking, no. Puerto Rico is one of the more interesting, and that's why I have to give her the distinction, my personal distinction, of one of the best battle cruisers in the game. Because this is the only battle cruiser that I can go broadside in, and like 90% of the time I won't get punished, because most players don't know how to hit the Puerto Rico. Now, players that are in, 07, PN, Bonky, those kind of players, we all know where to hit the ship. I'm not going to tell you where to hit the ship. I'm going to let you find that out on your own. But I'm going to be honest. This ship, you can go broadside in and you'll just take pins. You won't take citadel damage. It'll mimic a citadel damage, but it is very difficult to citadel unless you know where you're aiming. Survivability wise, she gets 71,650 hit points. Max torpedo protection of 28%, so, average. Armor wise, she gets 12 305mm guns, and, well, 8 127mm guns, as you can see, which are basically, 5-inch guns. Now, the characteristics on these 305s, these are the same guns Alaska has. 22-second reload, 8.8 switch time with Halsey or John Doe, 25-second 180 with John Doe or Halsey. Now, the way I have the range mod, so I have a 22 kilometer range. But most players would run probably reload mod, which would drop it down to around 17 seconds for reload. Max HE damage 4,300, 27% of fire, 51 armor pin, shell velocity of 808, max armor damage of 9,345 with a velocity of 762. Airstrike for, subs is 8 kilometers, 2 bombs and a payload, two flights, and basically 5,000 max damage for the bomb. So basically, you're getting at about 20,000 max damage for direct hits with subs. AA-wise, actually fairly decent. 26 Aura Lycans. Well, 16 quad mount Bofors, and then she gets the 8 dual mount 127 5-inch guns. Continuous damage of 403, shell explosion 1680, 6-kilometer AA range, which is actually fairly decent. It's not Dezitten de Provincian or Amon Grulian at like 6.9, but that's still pretty decent. Maneuverability wise, 37 knots, 910 turning circle. It's fairly large for a battlecruiser like Stalingrad or others, of course. And then rudder shift at 16 seconds. So not the best. Concealment wise, 13 kilometers, so average for a battlecruiser. Module wise, I run auxiliary armaments for my AA. Damage control 1, aiming systems 1, damage control 2, concealment, and then range. I usually run range on like 90% of my battle cruisers because it just makes sense. Okay? It just makes sense. Now, I'm going to remove this just so you can see what the range would be. 18.8 with, well, I guess it wasn't 17. It's 17 on the Alaska, but it's around 20 seconds. So you're not losing like a huge amount, okay? You're losing, what, 3 seconds? Not much. 3 seconds ain't gonna really do much. It'll do some, but not much. I'd rather have that 3-kilometer extra range to fight and dictate the battle. Now, she gets 4 charges of hydroacoustic, 4 charges of radar, and 4 charges of repair party. So, decent. Exterior-wise, this is what the ceremonial camo looks like. If you, let's say they brought her around again. This is what it would probably look like if you didn't have the alternative, you know, camo that you can mount. And this is what the second camo would look like. It's pretty bland and pretty So, but if you had her the very first time, it was a pure, like, American camo with white sailors, sailors in white standing all along her deck, which was a very patriotic camo. Build-wise, I run Grease the Gears, Gun Feeder, Adrenaline Rush, Priority Target, Super Heavy AP, and Superintendent, Top Grade Gunner, and then Adrenaline Rush, or Concealment Expert. That's how I run my Puerto Rico. And that's how I'd run my American battle cruisers, is basically with this build. And it works. But I'm going to show you the replay and let you see how Puerto Rico does it. And how you can get away with a lot of stuff. Hello, and today, welcome to the Puerto Rico review. Now, Puerto Rico, again, as you know, Tier 10 Dockyard ship. That's come around once, and then it came around twice. I missed it the first time. And I regretted it, because I could have bought it for $100. But I was able to pick it up this time. I didn't even have to pay a penny on this ship. I ground all of it. I ground the whole dockyard. And then I got the last 6 stages for an anniversary gift. So I basically ground this ship out, well, for free. I didn't pay anything for this ship. And I love this ship. I really should have picked this ship up the first time. But I thought I was on the Puerto Rico train, and I didn't pick it up. Because I had the Alaska. But this ship is totally worth it. It is hard to citadel unless you know where to hit. And it's the one ship that, unlike all the other super cruisers, I can actually show a broadside. And for the most part, I get away with it. I can actually go broadside in this thing, and I don't have to worry about getting deleted. Now, as you can see, my range is 21 kilometers because it is a super cruiser. So I run a range Puerto Rico because that extra 4 range gives me the ability to, you know, fight how I want to fight it. How do I run a range Stalingrad? Well, I run a range Puerto Rico. It's different, but it works. Because you could run a range Puerto Rico in clan battles, you could run a range Puerto Rico in randoms. A range ship like this makes more sense to me. And I do have Halsey on here. And this is a full 21 points. And as you can see, I am divvied up with Merc in the St. Vincent and Homicide and an FDR. Now, as we were going into this, we were thinking FDR, he's going to have a field day with this setup. There's not much that really threatens the FDR. Even the Stalingrad and maybe the Ohio are really the only things, but everything else, the FDR kills. And I'm staying fairly, far away to not get too aggressive. And I am trying to help out our Shima by putting HE on the Hayate. Now, our CV does go in and gets about almost a 10k strike with fires on that Ohio. The Shima... Oh, I didn't ever notice this. The Shima's from one line. Now, the Gearing does get a torp on him. Skiddly Diddle. Yeah, I don't know him from my time in one line. But he gets a torp. He gets a flood on that. And that, well... Hayate is not looking that good. And the Hayate gets picked up by the Gearing. But I mean, losing those, and I had a shot, and I took a a blind shot. I'm not the great. Unless I can see it, I could have probably made that. That could have been a really good hit, but I'm still learning those kind of shots. That's why I'm not perfect. But the Ohio's not having a really good day. He really isn't. Like, he's half health. Our FDR is just picking him apart. I have AP loaded, and it's still super AP. So, 5,000, it's not much, but every bit of damage means that Ohio goes down. He's the only thing on this side that I'm really worried about. Stalingrad, I can kill a Stalin. Now, the smoke screen's basically, and I'm like, let's just try to finish this Ohio off. Let's just get this guy out of the fight. And Ohio goes, bye-bye. And they're like, why are we still not pushing A? Fucking CV report. I pop my radar, because I know they're there. Again, I'm still mostly broadside. I'm not totally worried. I do get a nice citadel on the Stalingrad. I'm not really worried about the Stalingrad as much. The Stalingrad, he worries me, but he's not worries me. And I understand our Schlieffen staying back, because there were DDs. And our other side is basically steamrolled A. They've lost all support. They've got 2 DDs in there at D or C, and they really haven't used them. And our Daring is just locking down that cap. There's not much they can do. You see, I'm basically still almost broadside to this Kremlin. I do about almost 20k to him. He hits me, it's 10k, but it's not, citadel damage. I've still got 4 heals. I can heal it all back. I'm not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Because the Kremlin has 2 things. He can either keep trying to shoot me, or he has to run and live. Because he has a Schlieffen, he's got Daring, he's got literally multiple ships firing at. Not even a Kremlin can take that kind of fire. So I know I'm free just to make that turn. And I don't have to worry about it. And I'm keeping an eye on what's around. That's why I'm not firing. And there's a smoke screen, so I know there's a DD literally right in front of me. I load HE. to see. And I believe his Kuznetsov did go off. Or is about to. I can't remember. I think it did go off right around here somewhere. Should be going off, I thought. Yep, there it is. His Kuznetsov goes off and tries to save him. Emphasis on trying. Again, the DD is literally sitting right there in smoke. In front of me. I mean, that's... I don't know about you guys, but I don't sit broadside in smoke with a Schlieffen and Puerto Rico coming down on top of me. I don't do that. Again, you see the Shima is caught in my radar, and he has to run. I get a nice 4K salvo. Any amount of damage on him is going down. And the Schlieffen's basically full health and is pushing in with me. Now it's like, do I switch to the... Now it is kind of tempting because I'm trying to like be like, which one do I go for? But I choose that the Stalingrad is my bigger. I can just go alongside this Puerto Rico, the Des Moines, and kill him. But I aim for the Stalingrad because he's the one that I'm mostly worried about. I get a nice, almost 13k salvo there. Our Schlieffen does go down. Now, I could aim for that, but I have basically a great opportunity. I put one shot there. I put the rest into the Shima, and I get a double strike. And my ship detectability and everything skill from Halsey kicks in. Now, the Stalin does have the health upgrade on me. He knocks out both my front guns, but I put about a 13k salvo back on him. So, in terms of health, we're about tied. So, but he can still kill me. He can still kill me. Let's be honest. Again, I would have had him, but fortunately St. Vincent was there to, cover me. But again, that was just kind of really annoying when I played it because, he would have blew both my front turrets out. So it was, it was irritating. And I wanted to go for this carrier. But, I'm detected. I know the DD was literally right there. I switched to a Chi and pop my radar so I know he's not going anywhere. Put a nice salvo. Carriers coming in on me. I put a nice 4K into him. We pick up strike team. And, Homicide's thinking, don't kill the Holland. Don't kill the Holland. I want more damage. Again, I barely missed that. That should have been a kill. Again, he gets away literally on no health. I switched to AP. I'm going in on the Harkuyu. But the St. Vincent follows up, and we pick up shoulder to shoulder and basically secure that whole game.
And I'm not even going to know how many times I was reported.
First, second, and miscellaneous on our team. Good games.
I got to run. Like you didn't carry hard enough.
No.
Man.
You had to carry
I wanted to know how many times I was reported.
Probably 6. Hey, see you guys tonight. I got to run. Take it easy.
Why would I ever have gotten reported, Explodey?
Why would you have been reported?
Why wouldn't you have been? Isn't that an easier question?
Yeah, what were you playing?
Oh, nothing.
Team.
Sub or CV?
I don't play subs. And when have I ever touched a carrier?
I wonder when you touched a carrier.